Jessica Frost Ballas here with a video for lawnfawn. Today I'm creating an easy dimensional shadow box using the sweet I Heart Panda set, so let's get started. First I stencil a background using the layering bamboo stencils. I tape the first layer onto a panel of white cardstock and blend salvage patina distress oxide ink over the stencil. I start by just having tape on the top and bottom of the stencil, but end up adding tape along the sides to give it a little more stability. Once I'm happy with the coverage, I remove the first stencil and tape the next layer in place. I use Uncharted Mariner Distress Oxide ink for the joints of the bamboo stems. Finally, I blend Peacock Feathers Distress Oxide ink over the final leaf layer of the stencil. After my stenciling is done, I lightly blend Salvage Patina Distress Oxide ink over the entire panel to soften the lines and add a little background color. I spritz the panel lightly with water and then set it aside to dry while I work on the rest of my card. I stamp a bunch of images from the new I Heart Panda set with Copic-friendly black ink and then color them with Copic markers. I add a little toner gray shading to the pandas to give them some dimension. Then I use R21, 23, 14, 25, and 29 for the butterflies and hearts, and BG 10, 11, 13, 15, and 49 for the bamboo. Once I finish coloring, I die cut all the images with the coordinating dies. Off camera, I end up coloring one more stem of bamboo for my card. To create my shadow box, I start with 2 panels of white cardstock cut to 6 1/4 by 5 1/2. I place the panel on my scoring board with the longer edge on the top and bottom and score it at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. Then I rotate the panel and again score it at 1/2 inch and 1 inch. I repeat this for the second panel. I'm using a tutorial from Jennifer McGuire's inspiration for my card because I love how she makes creating a shadow box so simple. Next, I fold and crease the panel along the score line at the inch marking on both sides. Then I fold the 1/2 inch score line in the opposite direction and crease it with my bone folder. I repeat this for the second panel as well. When I hold the panels up, you can see how the edges will line up to create that dimensional box shape. Next, I die cut a panel of white cardstock with the Stitched Ripples backdrop die. This will be the front of my shadow box and will sit on top of one of my folded panels. I take a heart-shaped die and die cut it from the front of the ripple panel to create my shadow box window. Then I center that panel on my folded shadow box panel and trace the outline of the heart. I use that as a guide to line up my heart die and die cut the panel. Now you can see how the stitched ripple panel will fit on top of the shadow box panel. Once my stenciled panel is dry, I trim it down to 4 by 5 1/4 and adhere it inside my second shadow box panel. This will be the background of the shadow box. And now it's time to start putting everything together. I start by arranging my seed to get an idea of where to place all the pieces. Then I adhere one of the pieces of bamboo on top of the Shadowbox panel with the heart window. Next, I adhere my second piece of bamboo on the stenciled panel. Then I adhere my stitched ripple panel on top of the other heart panel, sandwiching my first stem of bamboo between them. I add my panda pear to the bottom of the heart window with liquid glue. Off camera, I color another bamboo stem and place it on the stencil panel to see where I want it. Then I take 2 thin strips of acetate and apply double-sided adhesive to one end of each strip. I remove the adhesive backings and tuck both strips of acetate behind the bamboo stem, adhering them to the back of the stem. I use 2 pieces of acetate for a little bit more stability. Then I apply pieces of double-sided adhesive to the left edge of the stencil panel. I remove the adhesive backing and adhere the acetate strip to the adhesive. This gives the bamboo the illusion of floating in my scene, which will help make it look more dimensional. Then I repeat the process with one of my butterflies and another strip of acetate on the other side of the stenciled panel. Once I add those acetate strips, I trim off the excess and apply a line of double-sided adhesive along the left side of my stenciled panel. I start by removing the adhesive backing on the left side and carefully line it up with the left edge of the ripple panel before pressing together to adhere them. Then I open the card and add a line of double-sided adhesive along the right side of my stenciled panel. I remove the adhesive backing and carefully close the card, sealing the right side of both Shadowbox panels together. When I push in the edges of the panel, you can see the butterfly and bamboo shift in the scene, and it creates a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 A2 card that can be easily slid into an envelope for mailing. But I'm not quite done yet. I add my last butterfly on another strip of acetate and adhere it to the top of the heart. Then I stamp a sentiment from I Heart Pandas onto raspberry cardstock, trim it down to thin labels, and adhere it to the front of my card. And that's it! When the card is folded flat, it fits nicely in an A2 envelope. But when you pull it out, it pops up and it can stand upright. When it's popped up, you can see more dimension in the scene, and those little butterflies seem to flutter magically. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you did, I'd love for you to give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. Be sure to subscribe to the Lawnfawn channel for even more crafty inspiration. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, have an amazing day and happy crafting. Bye!